Hello dolls, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Brittany and we do all things beauty, hair, and lifestyle, and we have recently started incorporating some pregnancy updates here on my channel. If you're into that sort of content, please do your girl a favor, go ahead and join the family by hitting the subscribe button and hit that bell notification while you are there so you're notified every time I upload, which we are doing our pregnancy uploads every Sunday, and then we're doing beauty and hair every Monday and Wednesday. And for this week, we'll be rounding out the first trimester, talking about weeks 10, 11, and 12. So if you have not caught any of my previous pregnancy update videos, I'll be sure to have them all linked below in the description box. You're definitely going to want to go check those out because it has been an interesting journey for me. I have had so many symptoms throughout this pregnancy, and this first trimester has just been a wild ride. So for this week, I kind of want to jump straight into it because this is the update. These are the weeks that kind of caused me the most kind of concern, but also brought me a lot of joy and peace at the same time. So I want to start with week 10 because week 10 is when I started having some real concerns with my pregnancy. And as most women know, just the first trimester can be very stressful. So much is going on. You're excited, you're nervous, you're anxious, and then any sort of kind of bad kind of feelings or symptoms can just really just kind of shoot your anxiety through the roof. And week 10 was a very emotional week for me because week 10 I lost my aunt, and my family is extremely close. This is my mom's sister, and it was very unexpected. It wasn't like she had fallen ill and the family was kind of expecting her to pass. It was literally, got a call one morning, she had passed, and it was like a shock to my system. And at this time, like, I was excited about my pregnancy and I hadn't even told my family yet. The only person that knew was my partner. And I had planned like this big kind of pregnancy reveal, and then my plan was to do it at 12 weeks, at exactly 12 weeks, because at 12 weeks was actually going to be Thanksgiving weekend, and my family they're so close that we always have an extremely big Thanksgiving. And our Thanksgivings are more like family reunions. The entire family gets together, and Nate and I, my partner, we were planning like a nice little surprise for my family for Thanksgiving week 12 to announce that we were pregnant. So week 10, on exactly the day that I turned 10 weeks, because my week started on a Friday. So on that Friday, I had just turned 10 weeks, and that morning at 11 o'clock, I got a call that my aunt had passed, which just such a blow to my system, obviously, and the emotions behind it. It was so emotional at this point. Like, I had like, you know, they say when you're pregnant, you're very kind of hormonal and emotional and temperamental. Like, my emotions were just kind of very even, just normal. I was not emotional at all, and I had not gone through any weird spikes of emotion. I wasn't crying. I was just completely even tempered, and just kind of my emotions was very steady, which is kind of how I naturally am. I'm just like a very even tempered type of person, and with this pregnancy I was worried that it was going to throw that off, but it didn't at all. But obviously with a death in the family, that's going to just hit you hard. And I think with the pregnancy and how being able such a close death, me and my aunt were extremely close. She was like a second mom to me. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. So my family's in Florida. I live here in Georgia. So when I found out that Friday morning at 11, I was on a flight that afternoon by 4 o'clock heading down to see my family, because that was just, you know, I knew I needed to be there for my cousins, for my mom, because it was a shock to all of us. And with that, I brought on a wave of symptoms. And the first symptom that it brought on, which really scared me, is I stayed in Florida for a weekend, and when I got back home that Monday, I started spotting. If you've seen my previous pregnancy updates, you'll notice that I had some stress and some anxiety in the beginning because I was experiencing a lot of really bad cramping. That ended up subsiding. Had my 8-week checkup. Everything looked great with my ultrasound. So I was finally at a point of relief, and then this happened and I started spotting, and it just sent my anxiety and my stress through the roof because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like I just lost my aunt, there's no way that I can go through the emotions of losing my first baby. So of course I immediately set a doctor's appointment with my doctor, and just said, hey, you know, I just had this death in the family. I mean, I was obviously stressed and emotional about that. I traveled, I don't know if the traveling or what, but I am experiencing spotting. So they had me come in immediately and say, okay, let's get everything checked out. Let's, you know, measure the baby's heartbeat, make sure everything is fine, look at the placenta, make sure nothing's ruptured or anything like that, to make sure you're okay. So I went in for my doctor's visit. The spotting, it will start very light, where when I would wipe, it would be like a light pink in color, and then throughout the day it just gradually picked up where I actually saw like blood on my panties. So I got into the doctor's office that very next morning. I got back home on Monday in Atlanta. I had a doctor's appointment that Tuesday morning. They checked the heartbeat, everything looked normal. The placenta, nothing had ruptured, my cervix was still closed. Just told me, you know, you need to be on bed rest for the next week and a half. Just kind of keep your feet up, don't do anything strenuous, don't do any heavy lifting, no sex, anything like that. So that whole week I was just riddled in stress, which wasn't good, because I think the stress that I was already experiencing was, you know, and the emotions of the loss was kind of triggering my stress and was causing the bleeding. But they looked at the baby and they said that, you know, the baby looked good, everything just looked good around the baby and healthy, but you know, I was experiencing some bleeding, so they just wanted me to take it easy. The bleeding stopped. I would say it only lasted for about a good 2 days, and then it stopped, and it wasn't heavy bleeding. That's one thing they told me to look out for. If you like have to wear a panty liner, or if you're soaking a pad, then definitely come back in. It was definitely very mild. Like I would go all day and then maybe have a little bit of spotting in my panties. Mainly it was when I used the restroom and wiped, I would see some on the tissue, but it wasn't leaking, which again didn't bring me much relief, but it was better than actual like full-on bleeding. That lasted for about 2 days. Towards the end of the week, after the spotting stopped, I started getting this brown discharge, which I associated to probably just left over from the blood that didn't pass. But yeah, I had like this, it was this light brown and sometimes dark brown discharge, and I had that for a couple of days. So of course I'm back on the phone with my doctor like, hey, I'm having this brown discharge, what's going on? And they just kind of assured me that it's probably just some of the older blood from when you were spotting earlier that didn't actually pass through, and it's just now passing. Again, if it does not follow with any pain, they told me not to worry, because I didn't have any pain, I didn't have any discomfort. I just had this spotting in the beginning of the week, and then I had this discharge towards the end of the week. So yeah, I did a lot of research, of course, around that. You know, anything like that stresses you out. I didn't find a lot of videos here on YouTube that talked about any sort of spotting or discharge throughout the pregnancy. So I definitely wanted to get on here and kind of talk about that. But after week 10, that pretty much just passed and went on back to normal. Like my body just kind of got back to normal. I never had any pain or cramping or anything associated with it. It was just, I believe, just the stress and the emotions of what of the loss of loved one. It just kind of triggered and threw my body off and caused me to spot. Which again, I just kept having to remind myself that I can't stress. Stress only makes it worse. So I just tried to keep myself calm and just kind of collected throughout as much as I could, and just relaxed, kept my feet up. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to the funeral, which brought another wave of emotion and guilt, because, you know, I just didn't feel like I got a chance to kind of really say my true goodbye, because I wasn't able to go to the service. But I knew that more than anything, my aunt had been asking me for years when I was gonna have a baby, because she just loved kids, that she understood that she wouldn't want me to put the baby in risk. So I didn't fly back down to Florida, just because I was on bed rest for a week and a half afterwards. So that was week 10, which was extremely traumatic, as you can imagine. With week 11, everything kind of calmed down. The spotting was gone, the discharge was gone, body was back to normal, but my nausea had returned. So week 9, So week 8, 9 is when the nausea started to subside, and we kind of got into a rhythm of what it is that we like, what we know we like. And then week 10 comes about, and I thought that we were good and done with the nausea. Nausea came right back. So now I'm still tired. I'm still nauseous. I can barely breathe at this point. I'm like breathing heavy. Everything makes me tired. I'm probably breathing heavy as we record this video. Extreme thirst is still there. I'm guzzling water like nobody's business. But other than that, other than the nausea returning week 11, there was no real new symptoms other than one really strange symptom. I started getting this weird sweet taste in my mouth. Like I had a constant taste of just sweet on my tongue. It's so weird. I couldn't explain it. Like I wouldn't eat anything sweet. I was only drinking water. I wasn't drinking anything sweet, but I just had like this constant sweet taste on my tongue, and I would be brushing my teeth like 2 or 3 times a day, but then the toothpaste tastes sweet. Like I literally could not get this taste of sweetness out my mouth, and it was driving me insane. Like it was like clawingly sweet, like uncomfortable sweet. Like my tongue just literally, I just tasted sweet all the time. No matter what I ate, I would try to eat saltine crackers and drink a lot of water. Nothing helped. I would be brushing my teeth and brushing my tongue. I just had this constant taste of just sweet in my mouth. It was so weird. I did some research, and they said that it could be related to like my glucose and stuff like that, and just to kind of check with my doctor. But yeah, I would say that lasted for maybe like a week, like all of week 11 leading into week 12, and then it just kind of went away. And I just couldn't get rid of it. So that was the only strange symptom. So week 12, by the time week 12 came, at that point I had my 12-week checkup, which I was very anxious about, because since the spotting in week 10, I definitely was anxious to kind of get in and get another checkup to make sure baby was doing okay, still thriving, still looking good. And it was when I wanted to announce to my family that we were expecting, because for Thanksgiving that was the plan. But with my aunt passing, we actually didn't gather for Thanksgiving, so we just did like a cute little announcement via just some cute little shirts, Nate and I, and I'll be sure to insert a picture from here. But my 12-week update came, and everything looks good. Baby heart was beating. He looked so cute on this little ultrasound. Everything looked strong. Everything looked good. I had experienced no more spotting or no more discharge. It ran a couple of tests at week 12 is when I selected to do the high risk testing. Is where they test for, Down syndrome and any sort of chromosomal abnormalities. And with that, I was able to do the early blood draw to figure out what the sex of the baby was, which we ended up finding out about 2 weeks after that. So week 12 came a very exciting appointment that kind of just gave me a lot of just insight about what was going on inside my belly, what was going on inside my body, if the baby was doing good. I knew that I was going to be able to find out what the gender was soon. We announced to our family that we were pregnant. Of course, they were extremely excited and happy for us, just because my mom has been wanting me to have a baby for years now. I have been asking about it. So this was, even though it was the pregnancy was not planned, it was a little unexpected, it was the timing of it was really great, because we had just experienced the loss, and then we're bringing in a new life into the family. So while the family was grieving, it was that sigh of relief in that point of happy for my family to know, okay, we're bringing in a new life into the family. Because like I said, my family is extremely close. So anytime there's a marriage or there is a birth or anything like that, it's just a time of just extreme joy and celebration. So yeah, when week 12 came, a lot of joy, love surrounded my family and friends that were extremely happy for us, and baby was doing great. Again, I'm going to insert some of the ultrasound pictures, because my sonographer, I think is what they're called, the person that does the sonogram, she got great pictures at every ultrasound visit. I mean, nothing. I mean, I feel like I just got the, and I might be biased, but I feel like I had the best little ultrasound photos. I have so many that I'm saving, and I'm gonna put in a box, and probably put in my little baby book. So yes, rounding out the first trimester, my first trimester has been very interesting, to say the least. Like, I just cannot stress enough that my body was all over the place. I had so many symptoms. Every week it was different. Like every week I'm just like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's new? I just couldn't keep up. I just could not keep up. But yeah, I am currently in my second trimester as I'm recording this, and I'm just so happy to be in the second trimester, because I have to say, guys, like they say, the first trimester is pretty rough. Second trimester, you get that spike of energy, and you it's like the best trimester before you get into third trimester, or you just kind of over it and done. And so far what people have been saying and what I've been reading, it has been so true. I'm in my second trimester now, and I have been loving every second of it. I'm probably going to do just a quick first trimester wrap-up video after this one, so we can kind of talk about it all in one video, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then as my pregnancy progresses, I'm probably just going to do one video per trimester, just like do a second trimester update and then a third trimester update. And the closer that I get to my due date, I'll probably start recording a little bit more, just because at that point I know it's probably gonna be a lot going on with me nesting and in nursery and baby showers and all of that stuff right there. So I'm super excited to kind of get to that point. Like, I'm happy to be in my second trimester and things are a little bit easier, and I just cannot wait for the journey. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this content. Again, if you are, please do not forget to jump in the comment section and let me know. Make sure while you're there, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that, and hit that bell notification while you're there so you'll be notified every time I upload. And I will see you dolls in my next video. Bye.